Hey, what's up, guys? This is Andrew Smirsik with Combat Air Training. Today I am here with Green Line Tactical with Don Edwards, John, and then Sam Houston. We just completed Shoot House Level 1. Awesome class, honestly. I haven't taken Night Fighter yet, but out of the three I've done with you, this one's my favorite so far. I really love this one. I'm trying to get down to Bastrop, Texas in December to do Night Fighter, and then I can finally make the investment into night vision the proper way.
Yeah, Bastrop's a great. I mean, we love that range. The owner, good friend of Sam's, friend of ours.
He's TR alumni.
He's tactical response guy. It's where James used to teach down there all the time. When the tactical response used to go to Bastrop, same range. So,
yeah, man, I'm excited for it. So this class, room clearing stuff, right? We did 2-man yesterday, and then a little bit this morning also, and then we went into 4-man. It's been literally a decade for me since I practiced any of this stuff, so stuff has changed. And then also getting it from everyone's different angles and perspectives on it. And I really liked, one thing that stood out to me was just simply playbooks, right? So it's are we taking a corner fed or are we taking a center fed room, and then we just execute that play. The structure to the class was phenomenal. What made you guys want to do this class initially? Was there a demand for it? Or?
Money.
How do you smokes a cigar?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. For a long time, I was like, no, I'm not going to teach that stuff. It's not my thing. I guess I was, he was probably one that was bugging me the most. Like, you got to, why not? And I was like, well, I'm just not sure if I'm the guy to be teaching it. And then I took a couple classes.
You're like,
and I said, if this is what we're teaching, then I know,
I gotta do better than this.
Yeah, I mean, try not to be, the other guys know what they're doing. And I was like, okay, I know at least as much as the other guys, my peers that are teaching this. So, and then there was demand. The alumni were like, hey, yeah, we would love to do that. So we sat down and started doing it. And it's not something that we do as much as some of the other stuff, just because locations and stuff like that aren't as well. But we had a spot that we used to do them at least a couple times a year, right? And then
probably did 2 a year.
Yeah, and as interest grows, it's one of those things that it's one of those classes that is the natural progression if you think about it, right? If you're into the flat range stuff and you're doing pistol carbine stuff, eventually you want to put yourself into a situation or into a training environment where you're taking it to the next step. You're taking those isolated skills that you have with a gun and putting it into a tactical environment.
Pressure testing them under stress and vetting certain things.
And the reason why we're learning how to shoot static is so that we can do this stuff and not have to worry about whether we can shoot, right? So that's really that is our preparation. Those classes are preparation for tactics and procedures based classes like Shoot House and different stuff like that.
I think the training industry is growing right now too. I mean, we got a whole new generation of gun owners, so they're going out and starting receiving some marksmanship training, and then they start thinking about how am I going to apply this in my life, right? So this is definitely the next level up. The next step, Don hit it on the head. It's the progression. You got to expose yourself to some of this to see, oh, this isn't television, and it's a thinking man's game when you get inside these doors,
Yeah, and it's something you got to practice a lot. Like I said, it's been forever for me, and also there's some new stuff here. So it's we had 2 days. We had a very fast progression. Felt like the guys did pretty damn good, especially putting work out there, because we had what we call the glass house normally. In the Marine Corps, we always call it a tape house,
house,
outside. And so being able to practice that, get down to fundamentals, like you said, there's a lot of fundamentals here, and then apply it inside. And for you guys watching too, cool thing is, UTM on paper, right? So there's marksmanship still counts. We're treating it like live fire, and the practical application is there. And there's certain things too where even though it's just paper, if you put a target in the middle of the room, people can forget their corners, right? So it's always something where if you're on the range, the flat range, and you're doing a cover drill or just a movement drill, people get excited. The same thing was happening here. So yeah, it was fantastic experience. I don't know where I was going with my next
I know.
idea. I always do that.
Well, you know, like you're right. We try to set that stuff out there. So we had a door trainer to practice. You know, believe it or not, you know, one of the first things we said was, "Who here's ever opened up a door before?" And everybody raised their hands like, "Well, you got to learn how much you don't know about opening doors. You've been doing it your whole life, but how many times have you done it with a gun in your hand?"
Put a gun
Right.
in your
with a
hand,
team
trucks
of
IQ
with a
20
team of
points.
guys that also need to get through that door. And in this context, it's not exactly. There's nuances to it. How do we get
yeah.
4 dudes through a doorway efficiently, armed,
Yeah.
you know, and stuff like that? It's not the same as, you know, bringing groceries home from the store and unlocking the front door and going through.
I think it also gives some perspective to the law enforcement military teams that are out there actually doing live operations. Now you're going to have a little bit more respect for what you're seeing going down. It's easy to be the Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, like, hey, what are y'all doing? Why did you do this? How did that happen? Man, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot
Yeah.
of stress. Even, you know, we had a little bit of a live action role play there at the end, and the stress level immediately
Yeah.
ratcheted up, and people lost it, right?
Yeah.
So and that's in a controlled, safe environment. When it's life and death, people really
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
double guessing themselves, you know.
And like I said, we cover a lot of material in 2 days.
Yeah.
And you know, we really do try to start out slow and make it bite-sized chunks. A lot of the guys are going to be going home over the next few days and really processing mentally, you know, what they did over the last couple of days. Some more than others, and it's designed that way. We only have so much time with everybody, and we have, you know, a pretty fair amount of material that we want to cover. And normally this is kind of stuff that takes weeks and weeks for guys who are doing this even part-time for a living to learn, let alone get really good and proficient at. So, you know, a lot of what these, like he said, they're going home realizing, hey, this is not as easy as it looks on John Wick. You know? But once you start to understand how it works, these guys will never watch a John Wick movie the same way. You know, they'll be like, "Oh, I know I did that. Why did he do that?" You know, well, Hollywood. That's why. But
Yeah, and like, and one thing too for everyone watching, like, you know, you gotta do those first fundamental classes before you come here. So like you were saying yesterday, you know, the training you put in on the flat range, that's how you buy your ticket here.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you don't have that down, you're gonna be holding everyone else back, and you're not gonna feel good about your
or
performance.
you're not going to be getting as much out of this as you could.
Right.
You know? Same with Night Fighter.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we say that to them all the time. Night Fighter's like, look, you can make it through Night Fighter, you know, without too many problems. But if you're not a proficient shooter and also used to being a student in a class, in a gun class, you're going to be more concerned about that stuff than you are learning. And so you're not going to pick up everything we're trying to put out. Same thing if guys show up to a shoot house class. I'm not trying to discourage people, but it's like you'll get more out of it if you're a regular student of the gun, and you don't have to really worry about your gun handling skills and abilities and your shooting abilities, because you have to bring that to the table. Like, I'm not here to teach you that. I'm here to teach you tactics,
Should
techniques, and
already
procedures.
know that.
Right. So if you're worried about your shooting skills,
Take a shooting class.
you're not going to be learning the tactics and techniques and procedures for CQB and shoot house procedures that I'm trying to teach you. You're going to be more stressed out over on that other stuff. So you owe it to yourself, if you're going to take a tactical procedural class like this, to really put in the time. This is not where you should start.
Right.
You know, we're starting to get into advanced stuff, and this is the entry level of that, in my opinion. You know, I've said to the whole group a few times at the end, almost every group, that once you start introducing force on force in a CQB environment, that's varsity stuff. That's where you have to get into the varsity level stuff. You know, you need to do this stuff. You need to be very, very good at the foundational fundamentals of, you know, principles of CQB before you even introduce role players and force on force, or you're gonna like lose it.
Right. Yeah.
So it is a progression. That's like why the guys that do this at the highest levels for a living ready up on the flat range is their bread and butter. They, you know, because at the end, when it all goes down, you know, it's already up drill. You
Yep.
know, at the very final thing is ready up drill. You know, that's all it is.
All right. So, anyways, I want to say, like, seriously, thank you, guys, because like it's hot, and you guys were out there working with us in between runs inside the shoot house. We were out there in the tape houses running it, and the instructors were on us, like helping us out, pointing out different things, different little critiques, and there's like a lot of information, a lot of ways just to take a door. You know, clear room from even the outside before you go in, how you enter, the jobs of everyone. It was a fantastic class. The structure especially was perfect. Like, I wish this was the class I had taken when I was a Marine Corps infantryman. So thank you, guys. And then anything you want to add about classes coming up, classes you want people to come take with you?
I don't know, man. I mean, dude, appreciate you coming out as a student, man.
Yeah.
Been out on my range a few times. Yeah, Green Line Tactical's the website.
Mm-hmm.
The schedule for the rest of the year, I can't remember all the stuff. We're gonna be
At the end of the month, we're going to
later this month. I'll be here in Florida doing a combat carbine course over in Fort Meade at Bob Keller's range. Then September is basically the West Coast tour. Oh, here, it pulls up the schedule for me. I can't do that. Yeah. We're basically out in the West in Southern California, Central California, and Utah, doing some night vision stuff and some carbine stuff.
Yeah, I figured California, there's a good opportunity because I've talked to a few people.
Yeah, down in the
San Bernardino, Exeter, which is outside of Visalia, and then
Corona area.
Corona, yeah.
Burro Canyon Range is where the Dark Lab class is. September or October,
September
we're
we're
in
in,
Connecticut.
but also in
And-
St. George, Utah.
Yeah, that's at the end.
Yep.
of
St.
September.
George in September, October 14, 15 in Wallingford, Connecticut,
Yep,
and then October 21, 22 in Grand Junction, Colorado,
yep, yep,
and then December 2, 4 in Bastrop, Texas,
yep.
and then I believe it's getting ready to be the SHOT Show tour.
Well, Night Ops Summit is the only
Yep.
thing on the calendar for November, because that's a big thing. We need some time to get everything ready for that. So as soon as we get back from the Colorado tour, it's we're gonna be setting up and getting ready for the big summit. And then the only next thing that's getting ready to go on the calendar for January is gonna be out in Vegas, a shoot house class just like this one, and then the Dark Lab class. So
Right.
yeah, we're getting ready to open the books
We
for
busy.
Yeah.
scheduling. But yeah, from now to the end of the year, pretty busy.
Right on. Well, thank you guys for your time
Yeah,
doing this video.
Thanks, Andrew.
I will post. I've done 2 interviews with Don before, so I'll post those in the link. In the description, and then also I'll post a link to their schedule. Come train with these guys, like for real. Like, this is a phenomenal class. I had a great time. Every time I'm with you, I have a great time. It was good to meet you guys this time too. So
Absolutely.
yeah. All right, guys.
All right, brother.
All right. So thanks for watching, and remember that training saves lives.